shooters, loaders, and casters, welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday night live stream. We hope y'all had a good week. CW, how was your week, my brother?
We had a good one. Typical fall weather for New England. We had some cold temps and some mediocre days. And leaves are falling like crazy. Got to the range one time, made a couple videos. Had a good week. Hillbilly, how was your week? How was your weather?
Oh man, weather's been decent this week. It's supposed to be below zero Sunday night and Monday night, so or not below zero, below freezing. So not looking forward to that. But yeah, I had a good week getting over this nasty cold and stuff right now. But anyway, yeah, I mean, God's good, and can't complain. If I wanted to, nobody'd listen anyhow. So anyway, thanks for having me on here, guys. Walter, how's your week, brother?
I had a good week too. The weather's been good around here. Today got up to 80 degrees, and tomorrow it'll be 60 or something at the high. It's weird weather out here. Can't decide if it's summer, winter, or fall, but I'll take it. We don't have any snow, and it's not going to be below freezing. And I'm not going to get in trouble because I shot my wife's table or anything like that. You know.
Blew it up.
And there's that too.
So yeah, no, good week. I got to the range and had some fun shooting. The last couple of weeks I'll say the last month, way more additional moles than any human has a right to have. I don't know how many I got this month. I think I got a dozen new moles this month, and a couple of them are pretty cool. I got 2 that are inbound. I finally found that Himmelwright wad cutter mold, which was the very first. Well, there were a couple of other prototypes and stuff, but it was the first commercially available wad cutter mold, and it was for 44 Russian. So I got some bullets from Matt's Bullets, who has that mold and sells them commercially, load them up and shot them. And then I found the mold on eBay. It's not here yet, so it's supposed to be here Tuesday, and it's going to need a little bit of work. So I got that one, and I found also on eBay a hollow base wad cutter for 41. And I didn't even know that one was out there. With all the wad cutters I have, I'd never heard of a hollow base wad cutter.
That MP is the only I'd seen.
Yeah, so this is a Lyman, and we're gonna load it up in 41 specials and try that out and see how they go. So yeah, a good week. You know, I got toys in the mail, and I got to go shooting, and I'm learning how to shoot that crazy Franken Glock that I put together. That Glock 20 it's got about 2 inches extra long barrel sticking out the front of it. But man, that sucker shoots now. It's a shooter. Put a new trigger in it and such. And get my face over here. And so I was happy. Had a good week, and got some casting done yesterday, and a couple videos went out. That video that I put out Wednesday on Lee's new slick-sided moles, it's getting 1,000 hits a day.
Beautiful.
I don't know why anybody's all that excited about Lee's stuff, but apparently they are. But anyway, so yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah, good week.
Buddy.
Good week for me. Mr. Kyle down there, what's happening?
Oh, I just got informed that my wife thinks there's a snake on the back porch.
Oh,
a snake.
So
I didn't think she could see from here.
I'll be vacating this seat here shortly to take care of business. But other than that, the weather's been great. It was like in the 70s today. That's not going to be that way long. We got a cold front coming through. Other than that, everything's fine. I'm being summoned to the back porch. I got to run and check this out right quick. I'll be back.
Take care.
I could hear.
Yeah.
I heard her.
How about you, Rebel? How was your week?
Oh, my week was absolutely crazy. You know, CW, you know this, in the gun store world, everything blows up in October if you're a hunting store. And
can't complain,
even though it's not my
yeah,
that's right. Exactly. Even though it's not my range, it's the original owner's range. We police it for him, and we've had to drive down every 30 minutes and say, all right, fellas, you've had your hour, out. And I had one whiner. He came up and a little young guy, a little redheaded guy, and he's sitting there complaining. I never knew it was an hour. And Trent's trying to explain to him, hey, we don't really enforce that in the summertime. So that's probably what you're, well, blah, 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 blah. He said, how about those other two guys down there? And he said, well, those are members. Well, how do I get a membership? And I interrupted right there. I said, you keep on whining, young man, you'll never have a membership. It'll always be full, and you need to shut up. All right? I said, it's an hour, and it'll always be an hour, and it's always been an hour. So just hush. And I turned around and went back to what I was doing. Trent got real quiet. The guy said, okay, why can't he? And he left. I hate being ugly with people, but don't, here's a big chunk of cheese without wine, sorry. He was down there and God knows what. And there were guys lined up behind him trying to sight in hunting rifles. He was like, well, I didn't get to sight in my lever action because I was busy shooting other stuff. Well, you should have got to business, son.
Yep. Come back tomorrow.
There ain't too many places to shoot around here anymore. And folks aren't willing to buy a membership and join a club. And even then, still yet, it's there's few and far between. And I hate to say it, but no offense, CW, but we've got a lot of people from up north moving down here, and they're bringing their politics down here, and they're posting their land, their little half acre or whatever, and if you shoot next to them, they call the law. So I don't know. We're turning into a different kind of place, and I hate it. And I'm not blaming it all on Northerners. It's just we got people moving in from all over because of our climate, just like Georgia does and South Carolina does. People get tired of the winter. We need people like you, CW, moving down here.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we need cool people. So anyway, how about you, Bama Dad? Or am I going the right way?
Yeah.
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 I think I'm the bottom of the barrel. But no, nothing much. Playing around my rifle and bought a new little toy. I don't trust myself on setting my scope up, so I bought me a little laser bore sighter.
They're handy.
Just make sure that thing's tight when you put it in. It's got those plastic collets.
No, it's magnetic.
It's magnetic.
Make sure you take it off before you shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. I've seen several people do that.
I found them downrange. They don't work anymore.
Mhm.
I think that's why they made this one bright red just for me, so I wouldn't forget.
And that 300 PRC's muzzle will look like a blunderbuss too, by the way.
Yeah.
I have one of those, and it works pretty well. It'll get you close.
That's all I want to do is get on.
Go out in the garage and shoot it down the hallway. Sight it down the hallway on your back door or something like that, and dial it in. You'll be close.
Nothing beats looking through the bore at 100 and adjusting. I always like using a paper plate because it's round and it fits in the barrel really, really nice. Right. And then just center it up and you can't believe how close you get.
Yep.
Yeah, you get a good bore dot. I have the ones that takes different calibers that go in the barrel, and I mostly can get within 2 inches the first shot, so saves a lot of ammo.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
here's a thought
Saves
for
a
you.
lot of ammo.
Hey, Boomstick, what's going on, brother?
Mm.
Bama Dad, are you through telling us about your week?
I am. Go ahead.
Oh,
How
wait.
was your week, Jamie?
My week was rough until today.
You got to see all of us. It got better, huh?
That's
You
it right there,
doggone
man.
right, bro.
He got to hear your soothing voice.
Yeah.
Not just that, but my boss was not at work today.
Government projects.
Who brought the bongos?
I love government projects.
We've been practicing.
Yeah.
We've been
If I'd have known there was
practicing.
going to be this kind of party, I'd have brought a ukulele.
Yeah, there you go.
You get that snake taken care of, Kyle?
That's a
Whole
good
bag
one.
of tricks.
Okay.
The
Yeah.
dreaded threat has been neutralized.
I want to.
Here's Mock.
Mock is here.
Mock.
Golly.
Yeah.
I'm playing with the buttons back here, and I'm falling behind. Mock, I've got to send you that knife. I need a scabbard for. Oh, did I show y'all this? I've shown y'all this before.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's a good looking knife.
Really?
Yeah, you need to go.
I like that handle
You
on
need
there.
to go.
too.
You need to go for buffalo. That's a Skinner, buddy.
That's a good Skinner for a
That's
buffalo.
a good scanner for. Works
Anything.
good on deer, but I figured out you don't need it. There's some tricks we wanted to talk about tonight. But let's get back to this thought that Rebel had. I've got this old lead sled out there, and I can put my rifle in it, and I can strap it down with a Velcro strap. I like to take that outside and put it on the hood of my truck. It's a square body, so it won't slide off. Ain't that right, Hillbilly?
Dang right, and it ain't gonna, fall down either.
There you
Well,
go.
that's important. But I like to take the bolt out and strap that rifle down, and I'll focus it on my neighbor's mailbox that's about 30 yards away, and I'll get that number 2 right in the middle of the bore, and then I'll move the crosshairs to where it's right where then when I go to the range, like you were saying, Hillbilly, you never more than 2 inches off with that laser thing.
Mhm.
You're on paper good, and then you just put 2 shots on paper,
Mhm.
and then kind of move the crosshairs to where those 2 shots are,
Yeah. Yeah. If you got your rifle strapped in good and solid.
and you're done.
Yeah.
Go kill deer.
What I was taught, if you can strap your rifle in, it shouldn't take, like, your third shot should be, dead nuts on, because,
Well,
you got it bore sighted or whatever in there. You take your first shot, and you tune that crosshair to that shot.
Yeah.
And then
I get-
you take the second one, you might need just a little bit of adjustment, but then by the time your third shot, you should be on the money if your rifle and your ammo's good.
I got
Well, I wanna-
plenty of.
So once you get, let me ask y'all this: once you get it tuned in where you want it, that's when you zero out your turrets.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did.
Mhm.
I got plenty of guys that come in and want the laser bore sighter because they think it's shiny and perfect. And it all depends on how tight you get that little plastic thing. I prefer to look through the bore. So I started asking guys, I said, do you want it done the easy way or you want it done the accurate way? And, I want it done the accurate way. Okay. All right. That's fine. Sit down. Wait. I'll pull the bolt. I'll set it up sandbags or something. And if the restaurant across the way and CW and came in. Kyle, you've been there. If they knew how many times there was a barrel pointed at that little electric outlet out there on the side, oh my God. But, and I'll bore sight it. And then guys will come back from the range and said, I fired my first shot and I was an inch away from the bullseye. And I was like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's weird.
Weird how that works. It works real good with bolt guns. If you got anything other than a bolt gun, though, where you can't pull a bolt real easily.
Well, ARs, it works pretty good because you can pull the bolt out of an AR.
It's tough on a 10-22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also on
lever guns.
Mm-hmm.
You can do it with a lever
But you
gun.
shouldn't have a scope on a lever gun anyway.
I will tell everybody this. I don't know if it'll help anybody, but it's something that I was told or a video I watched. But even with like the laser ones, like mine goes in from the outside. They have some like the bullets, that actually have the lasers on them.
Looks like a
Maybe
piece of
those
brass.
are more accurate. I'm not for sure. But mine slides in from the outside. It goes from like different ends. It go from like 17, all the way up to 12 gauge. And but when you slide it in there, and you can adjust that so you get a good snug fit. But when I get it in there, and I will spin it, and you'll see that dot down there. And if you spin it, it'll make a little circle. But what I do, and the circle at 50 yards or whatever is not that big of a circle. But I'll end that circle back up at 12 o'clock. So I know, okay, that's the top of my circle. So when I go into my scope, I'll set it just right below that dot. So it should have me, real close between, dead center. And they can get really, I've had no problem sighting in shotguns or anything just by doing that. The big thing is remember to pull it out before you take your first shot.
Yeah.
That would
I had my partner Trent count. I said, go ahead and keep count. And he's counting last week too. I said, count how many scopes I mount and how many times I bore sight. And as of today, it was 35 scopes I'd mounted and 70 side ends because guys couldn't figure out what was going on with the gun.
Since when? Since when? When did he start counting?
Last week. I'm out about 250 to 300 scopes a year. So
who in the world do you sell to, man? Those guys don't know how to mount their scopes or nothing.
No, they just know that they just know they come in and I tell them, I said, there's two ways to mount a scope. There's my way and the wrong way. And they're like, and just, I level the crosshairs. I get everything right, and if they want me to bore sight it, through the bore, they pay for it, but it takes a little bit more time, and my time's money. And if they're buying the scope from me, it's all free. Buying the scope and the mounts, I don't charge them for sighting it in. But there was a guy the other day that came in, and he's my best buddy's cousin, and he's been a horrible poacher in his life. And unfortunately, if you're a poacher, you can't afford to be stupid. And, I kidded him a long time ago. I said, Derek, if you're going to kill that sixth turkey, you and your wife, don't post it on Facebook, right? And or that 11th deer or whatever. And he was like, yeah, I learned my lesson. Yeah, okay, good. And he brought in a Savage long action, which is the 300 Win Mag, which is the most god awful thing to mount for a modern scope. because modern scopes have really short tubes. And I sold him a complete system, Picatinny rail, which is my favorite, because you can adjust any way you want to, and it had a Leupold scope, really nice scope, but it had a 50 millimeter objective, so you had to clear the barrel, and most people don't realize they get it really, really close to the barrel and said, "Oh, this is perfect." I got it close to the barrel, and you can slide a business card up between it. Most people don't realize, a CW will back me up on this. When you shoot, the barrel does this. You need a little bit more clearance than a business card. Otherwise, it's whacking the bottom of that bell. And it will whack the bottom of that bell, and you will not get consistent result. So clear the scope by a good 1/8 inch and go from there. From a guy that mounts that many scopes every year.
Yeah, well, I mounted mine at your place with your equipment, and I went and bought my stuff.
Yeah, you did, and I was very satisfied with your work. I didn't have to step in. I was like, Jamie knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing.
He might have done it before.
Yeah, 1 or 2 times.
Not 250 times a year, though. Dang.
Yeah, I know. I never thought I'd get that much. And then Chad started counting, and he said, "You realize how many scopes you mount a year?" He said, "How many scopes you mount that the guy went to Rural King or ordered off of eBay and comes in here and wants you to mount the scope." And then I said, the bad thing about it is I bore sight it, and they think they're ready to go hunting. And I have to remind them, all the time, hey, if you don't want to blow the legs off a deer or whatever, you need to shoot this thing in and make sure it's 0.
I had the same customer come back twice in the same year. He bought a rifle with a scope on it, took it out, went hunting, missed the deer, brought it back, sold it to us because it didn't shoot straight. We told him that they don't come sighted in. So, well, I want this one sighted in. I said, well, we can't sight it in. We can bore sight it. Well, that's all I mean. He said, well, that's not sighted in. Well, that's what I want you to do. So we bore sighted it. Bought the rifle, bought the scope, we mounted it, bore sighted it, told him to go sight it in for himself. He went out and hunted with it again and came back upset that he missed another deer. Upset with us because he missed another deer. Same customer, same year, twice.
Yeah.
You can't fix it.
No, you can't fix it. Well, you can.
He needs a heat-seeking bullet.
There's a shot for that.
Yeah. The good Lord can fix it. We can't fix it.
Well, we can, but we go to jail.
Yeah, I don't think I could have anybody mount my scope for me because where my eye box is, I don't think would be the same as somebody else's.
Well, what I do, Hillbilly, is I get the rings snug down, not tight, and then I hand it to you and say, "Tell me what." Tell me what you need. I need it closer. I need it further. I need it this. I need that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Think you'll say hi to Mario out there?
We got a sighting?
Yeah, I have a while back.
Count us down, Mr. Walter.
Here we go. On 3, 2, 1. Hey, you West Coast weirdo, you.
Battle begins.
You're one to talk, Walter.
Well, yeah, true. Testify.
No, Walter's West Coast Romeo.
Yeah, that's right.
I don't know about that.
He is, though. It stands for Retired Old Men Eating Out.
Rodeo.
Did that today.
That's a motorcycle group, Walter.
Yep.
They used to ride their bikes to one particular place, Landmark, if y'all are from anywhere close to here.
We had one out here called Gophers, which is grumpy old farts evading the rules.
I love it.
man.
There you go. Yeah,
Well,
thanks,
Jamie,
Ron.
we're talking about scopes.
Yeah, there's one in particular point that I wanted to bring up that we didn't get covered last week.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that CW and I touched on right there at the end, and Walks makes a great point. You can't sight in a scope for somebody else, and you can't set up iron sights for somebody else either. You gotta do that yourself. And one thing that we touched on right at the end that I think is important, that we may need to discuss some more, is on a hunting scope, not just locking, but preferably covered turrets. In other words, you screw the cap on. Now, in a tactical, competitive, or long-range shooting situation, that would be unnecessary because you're taking your rifle from the case and putting it on the stand and on your bench and proceeding. And there's a way that you need to go about taking your rifle out of its case and putting it on the bench, as I found out when we went to. They don't want you to pull your gun out of its case from the other side of the walkway thing there. They want it to be right beside your bench so that you can pick it up and it's pointed downrange the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have always put my cases behind my bench, and I have always opened my bolt and inserted a empty chamber flag into my chamber.
Yeah.
Before I picked it up out of the case, if it wasn't stored with that empty chamber flag in the case to begin with. And I was scolded for having my rifle pointed straight up with an empty chamber flag in it. To me, that's going a little bit overboard to the point of range Nazism. But that's just my point of view, not necessarily the point of view of the range officer that you will be dealing with. So consider yourself forewarned. But I think it's important that we have, as you're carrying your gun to your tree stand or blind or however you're doing that, it's important that your sights not be knocked off. And that's the point. One of the points that I wanted to talk about scope wise tonight. And we'll pause here for questions or comments. But open tactical style turret knobs are great on the range, but they're inappropriate for the deer woods. Questions or comments there?
I don't know if they're inappropriate. That you just have to take extra care. You know, I prefer covered if I'm in the woods and climbing stands and stuff like that. But you just have to take, especially if they have a zero where you can flip it and have a zero mark, you need to double check that and make sure everything's on zero if they're exposed.
Well, we called it slipping the stops if you've got dialable turrets, on the go, you get it zeroed in. You dial the turret, or you unscrew the lock screw, and you dial the turret back down to where it reads 0, and that way you can just look at the scope and
Right.
Click. Okay, all right, my bad. Oops.
And both of them, not just one of them. If you're going to do that,
Right.
Walt says he agrees with me 100%. That's the first time today, Walks, that anybody's agreed with me 100%.
Now, one of the scopes I have has a cover on the side adjustment. It lost my windage, but I mean, it also has a zero stop, but it's got a metal cover over it. The top one just has a locking up and down, and I kind of like that because if you're not so much for me here, but if you got side in at whatever yards and you get a chance to take a longer shot, all you gotta do is pop that up and turn it just a little bit. If you're familiar with your gun and your scope. So I do.
That is the key. That is the key. I don't care what kind of visual reference you're using to aim a firearm. You got to be familiar with it, whether it's iron sights, scopes, peep through sights, whatever. You got to be familiar with them.
How about your lens covers then? You can take them off as soon as you leave the truck, or you wait till you get up in your tree stand, or you stick them in your pocket when you're ready to start actively hunting.
I prefer flip up lens covers actually.
Yep.
Instead of bikinis.
They'd be way better in the brush for sure.
See,
They're
Walter,
flipped up when I hit the woods.
The answer to that question is going to depend on the environment at the time.
Mm-hmm.
If it's a humid morning and a cold morning, your breath will fog up that lens.
I have shot deer through an iced up scope.
Yeah. There's Toy Town Inc. Oh, we're past time to call out the side chat. What should we type in, Mr. Walter?
Gosh sakes, I don't know. Somebody help me out here.
How about 3x9?
3x9 sounds good. 3x9.
Didn't we do that last week?
Walks crushed me. He backed it down to 99.5%.
On my screen, I beat Viejo.
All right.
Yeah.
On my screen, you did not.
That's that 0.5% that we can't agree on. There he is, right there, Kyle Lusk.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Kyle Lusk was first in. He's on the panel and in the side chat. Even though Walter came up with the he's also on the panel and in the side chat. CW Longshot is on the panel and in the side chat. Hillbilly Up and Mike Hester, the Rebel, are as well. Ron 2A Matters is out there. Bama Dad is also on the panel and in the side chat. Mr. Walks Fletcher is out there. Glenn Davis, Robert C. Nadeau. Did I say that right?
Uncle Bob.
Uncle Bob. Edward
Uncle
Petty.
Bob.
Ozzy Osborne. Ron 2A Matters. Texas 6. We're missing you, 6. Alaska 1 Andy. Ron Wayne. The Wayne 783401 guy. Bobby Barlow. Walks Fletcher says 2x7. Boomstick says 2x4. And Kyle Luss says 8x10. Guys, we're not building nothing.
Yeah. No shit.
We're not building nothing.
Yeah. We ain't building a pole shed.
Which we should.
Yeah. I need to build another one because mine's full.
Okay. One more point I wanted to talk about scopes, particularly hunting scopes as opposed to tactical. Adjustable objectives. Somebody talk to me.
Side adjustable. The old school front adjustable is fine. If you're hunting it, I mean, if you're heavy woods hunting, you don't have to worry about it. But if you're field hunting, you're hunting in different places, you need to take that parallax out. So I like side adjustment scopes. I have some front adjustment scopes. And yeah, I've had to pull those in and adjust for longer shots so I could get a clear view. And the south is not usual, even in the middle of winter, to look across a cut soybean field and have mirage coming up in front of the deer at 30 degrees, because the sun's hitting the dirt and the mirage is floating up. It's usually going straight up. It's no big deal, but every now and then it gets a little tricky.
And also, if we're talking about adjustable magnification, you also need to talk about the focal plane, whether you want first focal plane or second focal plane.
I like second.
Last week.
Yeah, I like second. I'm not a big first guy.
I love first focal plane, sitting on a bench shooting at 1,000 yards, but in the deer woods, I want second focal plane.
I want second focal plane all the friggin' time, and I just, it's what I'm used to. It's what I'm used to. So.
What about you? What are you thinking, Bama Dad?
I don't have enough experience to tell you on that one. I like the idea of first focal plane. I haven't come into, a situation where it didn't work for me, but I don't hunt as much as you guys do either.
I don't. I like second focal plane. There's Crash. Tim S popped in. Y'all guys missed roll call.
I like my crosshair staying the same size. So this makes more sense to me.
Well, I'm gonna point some things out, and I want CW to react, and Walter and Bama Dad and all y'all guys. I think it's a fact that Crash is here. He put in 3x9. There you go, man. There, thanks. Here's the thing, and I think it's a miscarriage of justice. I think that second focal planes are cheaper than first focal planes, and I prefer second focal plane with a hunting scope. In most of my hunting applications, I would prefer a scope not to have an adjustable objective because I want quick target acquisition. If you've got to take time to adjust the sight picture, to focus the sight picture, that's time that in a big open field, you probably got time to make those adjustments. But
oh yeah, in the woods you don't.
Right, that's my point.
Well, I like a lever gun with iron sights.
Well, and that's why we have so many guns. See, it's like playing golf. So if I'm gonna hunt in the woods, I take the wedge. I'm gonna hunt in the field, I take the driver. And everything in between. Yeah, I mean, it's what I told my wife. I was like, there's no certain situation, so you got to be covered for all bases.
And you always have a 45 on your hip.
Well, I don't know about that. Never had a deer attack me But it can happen.
But it's not ruled out.
Yeah, right.
Well, it's all going to key in with what Walks just said, and that's if you're out west. You know, we're speaking from hunting
Eastern, yeah.
up close. You know, on the eastern seaboard, or in there's tight stuff out west too. But you know, most of the people, when you say out west, you think big wide open, and East Coast, you know, you think more tight close in. And tight close in is what Jamie's talking about. And I haven't said much because I'm letting other people say their thing. I kind of said a lot last week, so I kind of just sitting back and listening. But that's the reason that we don't like first focal plane and we don't like adjustable objectives, because Jamie and I are talking about close range, close in shots. And with first focal plane, when you got your scope turned all the way down on the lowest power setting, that reticle is teeny weeny, tiny. And you're in the woods and you need big, bold, wide. You don't need teeny weeny, tiny. If you are out west where you can use 6, 8, 10 power as your lowest setting because you're shooting 300-400 yards, first focal plane isn't a big deal. Adjustable objective. You're in close. You can't make a lot of movements. You can't make a lot of noise. You don't want to be fumbling with things when that deer comes in front of you, because it's going to see you, hear you, smell you. It's gone. So you got to be ready. So same thing for those exposed turrets. If you're walking through sticks and briars, they're going to get banged and bumped and turned. And sure, then I'm sitting here, they're not going to be sighted in when you need them to be.
Yep.
So that's the reason that we're talking we don't like them. So somebody who's, you know, getting out of their truck and leaning on a fence post and shooting at 400 yards might say, well, there ain't nothing wrong with first focal plane. There ain't nothing wrong with adjustable objective. These target knobs are fine. And it is for them. So that's what we mean when we say no. It's for our style of hunting, no. Not that it doesn't work or it can't be used. Our style of hunting, it's a no.
Right.
From our experience.
I agree 100% CW, and 9 times out of 10, I love a low pole fire dot. And I'm not
anybody who doesn't know that's you've got some strata, vertical, horizontal, and then you've got a floating dot in the middle that's illuminated. It's dynamite. It's a dynamite.
Yes. And I've got on a 300 blackout AR, and I've got one on a 308, and for low light, it's beautiful. But the thing is, if I'm going to hunt with adjustable objective scope and stalk or still hunt, I generally, most scopes without adjustable objective are set at, the objective is set at 100 yards. So I'll turn mine to 100, and out there at 50, I've shot them at 150, and it really didn't make any difference. You know, just set it at 100 and go from there. You know, because if you buy the bottom basement Burris, which has very clear glass and doesn't have an adjustable objective, it's generally set at 100 yards. Wouldn't you agree, CW?
Yep.
Yeah.
Parallax was going to be set. Focus parallax is going to be set on the kind of scope you buy. So if you buy a rimfire scope, you're probably in 50 yards or so.
Yeah.
If you buy a shotgun scope, you're probably closer to 75. And you just buy a scope that doesn't say, it's probably 100 or 125, 150. That's where the parallax will be set.
So I just set an adjustable objective at 100 and don't worry about it, you know. And I've with several of the high-end scopes, I've crawled through some pretty nasty stuff and never had that turned. So obviously, if I drop the rifle or slip or fall, I'm gonna double check. But
yeah, and some guys don't mind, I might add here. Yeah, I mean, don't be drinking too much blackberry brandy while you're out there or anything. Because yeah, with that parallax, if you're shooting at 50 yards, you know, it's probably not going to matter very much, a second focal plane. But especially the farther you go out, um, if you got that parallax set wrong and you got your gun perched where it's steady and you bob your head around a little bit without touching the gun up and down side to side, that dot will move. So it, when you go to look to that scope to, take a shot, like I said, 50 yards ain't going to really matter. But if you're, the farther you get away, the distance, the more that's going to be mattering. And it might keep you from getting a kill shot, right off the bat. So, try to, if you do have the parallax adjustment on there, like check it out and make sure that you know what it's for and how to use it. 'Cause that way you don't end up wounding an animal, a couple hundred yards out because your parallax is off.
And all of this discussion, I thank you for saying that, Hillbilly. The whole discussion is based on that. And we're going to take it to another level here in a minute. We want clean, ethical, one shot, one kill hunting. We don't want to have to be chasing a deer half a mile through the woods. And I think it's important to say right here, just for a second, if you shoot a deer and it runs off, before you ever get down and start looking for your deer, you need to wait about at least 30 minutes.
If not an hour. Yeah.
Give that creature time to extinguish.
Yeah, to pass.
Ideally, you're giving it time to lay down up close, so you're not chasing over hill and dale. If you know where you hit, or you're pretty certain where you hit, yeah, half hour. If you don't know or you think you made a bad hit, that's when you go an hour or the next day.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many guys I went to help track their deer and they pushed it.
Yeah, that's all you're gonna do. You're just gonna push it over hill and dale and make a lot of work for yourself.
And those animals are tough. They're just tough.
If you let them sit there, they'll expire. You
Yep.
know, if you're going to go after it and chase it, think of the suffering you're inflicting on that animal.
Yeah, and like most usually, I mean, to be honest, they won't run too far, really. And if they're not, spooked, they'll lay down. I think that's in their nature. The only thing, like around here with our hills and stuff, most usually they always head downhill towards water if they can find it. So as long as you sit there and wait, and start following the trail, if you happen to lose it some, you can just keep dropping off over the hill and, you'll find them at the bottom or, anywhere there's water. And so, but yeah, I totally agree with you all. I mean, let them go out there and lay down because they'll lay down and waller around and try to plug that up. And I mean, I assume that's normal for them.
Yeah.
Just lay there and rest.
And a lot of our new hunters, I don't want to be disparaging here, but it's the truth. A lot of our new hunters that have got into hunting and or shoot adequate enough, but they didn't spend their life in the woods. They spent their life on the couch, play video games as a kid. They weren't out in the woods like our age group was. I learned to track at a very early age, and my son-in-law, who's a big deer hunter, is far more nicer deer hanging on the wall than I've ever killed because there weren't any deer around here when I was young. He said, how'd you learn to track? And I was like, I spent my life in the woods. And I said, I can track a black snake over a flat rock, son. And that's not a lie. You know, I look at bent grass, I look at blood sign, I look at ruffled leaves, the whole 9 yards. I do the Jeremiah Johnson thing, and you know, you guys are calling in drones, you know, thermal drones, and it's getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper to do that. And hey, I'm glad they're ethically recovering their deer. I'm not disparaging that, but I appreciate the skill of tracking and that art of tracking. And I'm by no means the best, but I would say your little African guys are probably the best trackers on earth right now that are living. And I know guys that have actually seen them in action on safari, and they can track on a dead run. But they've lived that way their whole life. They're indigenous people, so.
Well, that's like us going to the refrigerator to them.
Yep.
It's a way of life.
Yep. But everybody should learn and try to master that skill as best they can. They owe it to the animal they're hunting.
I think you'd have a lot better hunters if they'd learn to track and get out in the, you know, when I started hunting, the guy that I started hunting with, his thing was, if you sit around all summer and don't go in the woods and you go out there opening day and think you're going to kill a deer, you're the biggest idiot in the woods.
Yep.
He always said, he said, by the time hunting season opens, he said, to me, it's just like going and picking up food at Jack's. He says, because I know where they're at, I know where they're bedding, I know where they're walking, I know where they're drinking, I know where they're eating. He said, so it's just a matter of putting myself in the place. He said, plus I've been out in the woods and they're not spooked by me. Well, and it always held true.
For me, there ain't nothing on TV worth watching. Why not be out in the woods? You know, even as an old guy with a knee that sounds like I've got a bag of marbles in it, and you know, I'll limp along and look at sign and try to figure out how fresh it is. And was it made last night? Was it made 2 days ago? You know, and go from there. You know, but I have friends that have been on safari, and I just admire those little native guys that look down and see a leopard print and know it's fresh. And that guy with the gun's going, I didn't see the leopard print. When he pointed it out to me, okay, that's a leopard print, but I couldn't tell you how fresh it was. And he's telling me it was made, you know, last night at 10:31 a.m. And it was, you know, that's really being in touch with nature. And I admire that. I really do.
Hey, they all don't know that, though. They're not all that good.
No, but a lot of them are.
You know, because we were on a photo safari in Masai Mara and setting up a picnic for the people that went with us. And the guy that I was depending on took off running back to the truck. And he was hollering all the way back to the truck. When we got back to the truck,
that's a good sign to get back to the truck.
I figured if he's running out to myself, you know.
Yeah, so right.
I said, what's the deal? And I noticed he was soaking wet. And I said, what's that? He goes, leopard.
Yeah.
In the tree that we were setting everything up under, there was a leopard up in the tree and it peed on him. And I said,
he gave him a warning shot, in other words.
It's not one world.
Yeah. There you go.
You're not in Alabama right now, buddy.
No, you're not. But you know what? I go back to a lot of instances where the first time I went grouse hunting, I was walking on the side hill of a ridge and I was seeing these scratchings that look like chickens, you know. And Lord, I didn't know nothing about grouse hunting. I didn't know how fast they fly. And I hollered out at my buddy who was experienced. I said, "Do they make scratchings?" He went, "Yeah." And then all of a sudden I started hearing clucking. I said, "Eddie, do grouse cluck?" He went, "Yeah." And one jumped up on a rock in front of me. There was a hemlock tree between me and the rock. I blasted that hemlock tree. As a matter of fact, it just fell over. It was a little hemlock tree. And then I heard the grouse flush. I was like, I can't believe I didn't hit him, you know. But he was going 50 mile an hour when I was still squeezing the trigger. I should have listened to my instincts. Hey, it's a chicken, you know. Look, what you're seeing, you shouldn't have to ask, you know. And we flushed 9 grouse that day. That was a long, long time ago. It was 40 years ago. But I learned a lot grouse hunting because you're not really worried about deer. You're not really worried about bear. You're not really worried about other wildlife. You're after a bird, but you're observing other tracks and other prints and things on the ground. I've seen bear turn over 400 and 500-pound rocks after grubs and following their trail up the hill, you know, up the mountain, and wondering if I'm going to run into this guy or, you know, all I got is number 7.5. You know, I'm going to give him all 6, but you know,
All you gonna do is make him mad, dude.
I'm gonna blind his ass, and then I'm gonna throw the shotgun at him, and then
beat him over the head with a butt.
Right, exactly.
And if
Your
there's somebody
best
with
bet
us,
is
I may
to-
just hit them with a shotgun and leave them for the bear.
Yeah, that's
That's
right.
where them cut shells come in.
Always carry 2. CW, always carry 2. If anybody don't know what a cut shell is, well, DM me sometime and ask.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that here and now, but
No.
I reckon that 8888 has a video on it, or at least he used to.
He did.
Yep, he did.
But yeah, I think your best bet against the bear in that situation is just stand still and get your shotgun ready, and when he's almost to you and opens his mouth, shove barrel first right down his throat.
Then pull the triggers.
Yeah.
And be praying the entire time.
Yeah, and then go home and change your underwear.
Well, every bear I've ever seen, I've only seen the hind end of them. They usually run away from you. So
Yeah, they don't like us any more than we like them. So
Yeah.
No.
Well,
but now you get between one and its cub, you that's a different story.
That's a different story. Yeah.
That's like getting between me and my kids or me and my wife.
Yeah.
You don't do that.
Yeah.
or thoughts of an old soldier in a sack of crystals.
Oh Lord.
Sorry, I had to say that, didn't I? Next topic we wanted to talk about, as far as we're talking about ethical kills. I think we need to consider bullet choice and bullet construction. I hope y'all can tell we thought about this and actually talked about it a little bit. Not really, but here's the thing. Me and Kyle were talking earlier in the week, and I've got these bullets that I'm going to be hunting with my 270, and they're called, I got them from, they're pulled bullets, which is going to make them a little bit less accurate. I understand that. They're 270, 140 grain Marksman Hunter. They're pulled from SIG, Marksman Hunter Ammunition. I watched Alabama Reloader's video, and he thinks that they're Sierra Game Changers. And I went on Sierra's website, and I think that they're Sierra Match King X is what I think they are.
You got one in your hand?
No, but I got one right here close to my heart.
Does the Match King X have a green tip?
No, this is a non-tipped bullet.
They look like the Match Kings.
They
Okay,
look
good.
exactly like the Match King, only they're
A tiny little hollow point with the X in the end.
Yeah.
yeah, the cross shape. Let me see if I can show you all this.
Oh, Jamie's bringing up a controversial subject.
Yeah, you got to get a lot closer.
I see it.
There you go.
That's actually been tipped, hasn't it, CW?
They're made to be the exact same profile as the Match Kings so that they can be loaded, interchanged. So if you got a load worked up,
Sure.
you're supposed to be able to just swap out. So sight in, have fun with the Match Kings, and then swap over to those when you go hunting. That's their
Jamie, that's a fragile, explosive bullet right there.
See that? Now you can
Yep.
see that.
Yep.
There you go. You can see the little cross shape.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I thought so too. That was my thinking. And
Oh, it'll kill, but put it where it needs to be,
Well, that's the name of the game.
Ain't it?
I mean, you can kill a deer with a 22 Magnum. I've done it,
No,
but it's got to be placed right.
thousands of people have done it.
You know what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
not the preferred weapon of
Yeah.
choice, but
It's usually a hold my beer moment. And my spotlight. Yeah.
oh Lord,
boys, y'all gonna get us kicked off of here.
Jamie, that there are forums out there that comes up every year about hunting with matched bullets, whether they're X'd or not, and my God, they go for like 12, 15, 20 pages. You're sorry. You know what? If you hunt with matched bullets, that's just unethical. And the next guy says, I've killed 24 deer with them.
And they're dead right there.
Yeah. And you're like, if you put it where it needs to be, I don't hunt with burger bullets, even the hunting bullets, because they're designed to absolutely go in about 3 inches and blow up. And they're wonderfully accurate. But I'll sacrifice a little bit of accuracy for a bullet that works, that works like we want it to work.
Right. Here's another 140 grain bullet. Well,
Is that an SST?
Hornady SST 140 grain.
That's vanilla ice cream and a killing fool right there. Yeah,
That's
buddy.
a killing machine right there.
Yep.
All right. Let me talk about this for just a minute, and then we'll. It's all right, Abigail. I think that's Boone.
well, look at the way it's spelled. Complant department.
Yeah. Abigail, you spelled it right, but he didn't. Golly.
Complant department. That's why I LMAO'd.
All right, here we go. Okay. This is from Copilot Search. There are key differences between target match bullets and hunting bullets.
Yes, they are.
Design purpose. Match bullets are designed for precision and accuracy and target shooting, while hunting bullets are designed for expansion and penetration to ethically harvest game. Construction. Target ammo prioritizes precision and consistency, whereas hunting ammo is designed for controlled expansion and maximum stopping power. Hunting bullets typically have a thicker jacket and are bonded to the lead core, while match bullets have thinner jackets and are not usually bonded.
And if you have pretty deep pockets, Nosler bridges the gap between both of those with their AccuBonds. That is a brutal bullet.
Yeah, they're
Okay.
tough.
I'm not done yet. Performance. Hunting bullets are more forgiving regarding shot angle and can break through heavy bones, while match bullets offer better control over shot placement. These differences highlight the distinct purposes and design of each bullet type, making them suitable for their respective applications. And y'all want to see some pictures?
Sure.
Here we go. Okay, here we have a standard cast lead bullet with a very, very fat meat plat. So Walter and CW would love that one. This is the one that I've hunted with most of my life, which is the Winchester PowerPoint. They have an upgraded version, the Winchester Power Max Bonded. And we'll get into bonded in just a minute. So keep that thought handy there, Kyle.
Yes, sir.
The Hornady ELD X is basically the same as the ELD Match, except for the thicker skin here. See the thicker jacket, particularly at the base, and the bonded, the interlock right here. Can y'all see that?
Almost. If I was watching it on TV, yes.
So there's a little ridge right there in the copper jacket where it goes into the lead core. Also notice that these tip bullets that CW pointed out earlier, these tip bullets are basically hollow points, and the tip is just filling that in, making it more aerodynamic until it hits the target. Here's your Nosler AccuBond right here, and then there's your Nosler partition. But notice that here in the AccuBond, your thick copper jacket comes up to right in here where it swells out a little better, a little more, and the lead core does, and the copper jacket gets thinner. And on your Nosler partition, you've got this thick band of copper running, actually separating the two halves of the lead core. What this does, the Hornady ELDX with the interlock design there, does this to some point too. It limits the expansion. It limits the length that the mushroom can go down, if that makes sense. And you can see a better idea of it here with the Federal Terminal Ascent.
That's an awesome bullet.
Yeah. And then your Nosler Solid and your Barnes TSX. These are monolithic bullets. These are they're designed mostly for lead-free hunting states, but they work very efficiently because they have these designs cut in there to make them actually flower rather than mushroom. And I've got one at my shop, but I didn't bring it.
Yeah,
But
those TSXs they're evil.
Yeah.
yeah, they ribbon back and just turn into 4 knives rather than a mushroom.
Yeah.
That terminal ascent is a different style. It's kind of a hybrid, if you will. If you look at the base of it, it's really thick copper. So basically, it's a solid copper bullet base with a lead core and a hollow point tipped bullet. So the BCs on it are very, very high. It's going to expand pretty easy because it's got that hollow point and that tip. That tip helps initiate expansion as well as give it, really streamlined, slick profile in the air. It's got the lead in there, so it's going to expand better, easier, nicer than pure copper bullets. Yet it's got a copper base that's never ever going to overexpand.
That's
It's
what's
got
going to drive it home.
so much going for it for a hunting bullet,
Yeah.
long range hunting bullet. And like Kyle mentioned, that Nosler AccuBond, that's a tremendous bullet. And you can see how they limit expansion by super thickening up that jacket at the base and in the sides of the base there. So it can conceivably could expand down a little farther, but it's so much resistance to expand down there. And it's bonded. I don't remember if the terminal ascent is bonded too. I want to say that it is. And what bonding is, Jamie talked on it a little bit there. Basically, it's a glue. It's the jacket and the core are bonded together. So it will expand, but they won't shed their core. It'll stick to the pedals as it expands. So
I dropped a doe with an AccuBond, and you could see the entrance, but it looked like a cannon shell went off about 5 inches in, 4 inches in, something like that. I mean, it went from a pinhole to a fist. I was like, good God. I mean, it's brutal.
I'm surprised to hear that, Kyle, because the AccuBond is really a choice bullet for elk, and they're pretty tough. They don't. I've heard a lot of people that shoot AccuBonds don't hit bone, and they pencil because they're pretty tough bullet. They're a bonded bullet.
Yeah.
And obviously you hit bone.
Yes.
What you're doing. So, but while Jamie's got this whole chart up, I want to talk about real quickly about Burger bullets. So Burger came out with their hunting line. Come to find out, their hunting line was their old target line. So it was the same friggin' bullet. And they discovered guys were hunting with their bullets because they were so accurate and killing game with them, just like people kill game with Sierra Match Kings. Not recommended,
right,
by the company, but they were doing it. Well, so Burger went one step further and they took their old hunting bullet or their old target bullet, and they made it BLD hunting, and they came up with a brand new target bullet. Well, everybody that bench rest shoots, long range shoots, whatever, always use the hunting bullets. They don't much use the match bullets, but I tend not to use a Burger bullet. They're wonderfully accurate. They're blisteringly accurate. But I won't use them for hunting, for deer anyway, because the results are, if you hit bone, you get explosive results. If you don't hit bone, she just zips through, and my whole idea, CW will agree with me. I'm loading for a Remington Heavy Barrel 308. I'll probably hunt with that this year. I'm loading 168 Gold Dots. They're listed as personal protection bullets. Okay, well, if the deer runs after me, you know, I got this. But they mushroom. They're a chemically bonded bullet, whether that's glue or whatever. They've kind of got a haze. They're coated with something, and they expand so perfectly. It's textbook. It's like a magazine article picture of a bullet. And I love them. I killed a deer at 125 yards with a 6.5 Grendel and a little 120 grain Gold Dot, and she went right down. I tracked her 2 feet straight to the ground. You know, yeah, it's a wonderful bullet, wonderful bullet.
The main problem with a 270 is the bullet's traveling so fast and it's so small. I've shot deer with a 270 and the deer didn't even know they were shot, which goes back to what we were talking about. Just sit in your stand, relax for a little bit, you know, get yourself together, let your heart rate slow down, all that stuff. And because you got a better view when you're up in your stand and you can see where the deer goes. But this deer, I thought I missed him. And I'm sitting there looking at my gun going, I know that I shot that deer. And, but he never even knew, he heard the noise, never even knew he was hit. The bullet went in and out so quick. And he just walked around for a little bit and then just finally fell over. I was like, the hell was that?
I got 2 bullets here I'd like to show you. These are both Gold Dots. They're both shot from the 454 Casull, and they're both 300 grains. This first one here, you can see the Gold Dot. See all that lead all the way out to the ends? That's a bonded bullet on a piece of lead, on a piece of steel. Pretty incredible.
My goodness.
Here's the same bullet that went in a deer. Still Gold Dot. See the little Gold Dot there?
You
Same
can't get
exact
no better.
bullet, same exact load, same exact everything.
You can't get no better than that.
So that's what a bonded bullet does.
And
all that lead stuck to the jacket as it peels back. That's what bonding does for you.
retains weight.
Retains weight. Yep.
Yep.
And if a piece of steel, that just look at the lead there.
That's a frisbee.
That would make a good keychain.
And that's big around, you know. I mean, there's my thumb.
That would make a killer keychain, dude.
So that's a bonded bullet, and that's what bonding does for you.
I've heard a lot of people complain about a ELDX. I've killed 2 deer with the ELDX with 2 different calibers, one at 175 and one at 100, and results were fantastic. I didn't have any problems with them at all, and
I think people's problem with them is they're fragile.
They're very fragile, just
That's
like
the problem.
just
They're
like
accurate.
what Jamie showed. It's fragile. If you put it in the right place, you're going to have great results. If you're a goofy shot and you gut shoot a deer, well, you can gut shoot a deer with a muzzle loader, and you're going to end up tracking him for a bloody mile. So, in my opinion, or in my experience, I should say.
Well, what I'm hoping is with more time that the load I have worked up for this bullet is going to translate perfectly to this bullet.
Right.
And
Jamie, I've seen you shoot. You ain't going to have no problem.
I hear you, but I still, you know me, man.
Yep.
I've used lots of those SSTs, and the only thing I'll say about them is they tend to be a little fragile too. But they're a good, accurate bullet, and maybe avoid big bones up close. But aside from that, they're a good bullet.
Well, and I call a SST like a interlock or a PowerPoint or
They have an interlock in them, SSTs.
or a core lock or they're vanilla ice cream bullets. They're cup and core. Okay. And cup and core works. It works. They tend to be a little fragile. You might find a piece of jacket coming out of his butt, when you hit him in the shoulder. But they work. They absolutely work.
Good to know, Walks. CW sick of me putting your comments about 270 in there.
Well, let's blow up fuzzies.
Yeah.
Fuzzy. 30.
It's a fine cartridge in the event you can't find the 3006.
I want to address James Pugh comment from earlier. Let's put Walk's comment up there.
I got a couple boxes of those very first Nosler partitions.
Here's this. Here's a comment. Got 200 grain FTX for 35 Remington load and 200 grain hard cast for Mark from Mark Thomas. Let me address this comment, James. I'm no expert, but I pretend to be one on YouTube. This is the thing. In my testing with my 35 Remington, I had better results with that Lee 200 grain cast bullet than I did with the Hornady FTX 200 grain. And y'all might scoff at that comment, and you're certainly entitled to.
I won't scoff at it. I witnessed it.
Well, if you're going to hunt with a cast lead bullet, it's certainly doable. I mean, when did copper jacketed bullets come out? I mean, they were killing deer and buffalo and everything else with cast lead bullets for 100 years before we ever had copper jacketed bullets.
Yeah. Somehow they led us to believe that they're superior, and I don't believe that they are all the time.
Not always, but I tell you the thing that I would recommend that you do. And y'all, that Lee 200 grain 35 caliber bullet mold is excellent. I mean, you can get a 2 cavity one for $30-$40. They used to be $19.95, and but that was in 1995, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a great book.
We need to have a casting session, Jamie.
Yes, we do. And that bullet works very well in 35 Remington. I'm telling you, it does. But what you need to do if you're going to hunt with the 35 Remington or, any cast lead bullet, you have to match the hardness of that bullet with the pressure that you're generating in that cartridge. And it's important that you get some expansion. Now, you got to bear in mind you don't have that copper jacket. Your lead's out there on its own. So it needs to be hard enough to penetrate, but it needs to be soft enough to expand. And that's the trick of hunting with a cast lead bullet, to me. Walks. Sicking, big boy. Yeah, that's what I'm. Oh, Walk says 1895. Is that the first time we had copper jacketed bullets? Yeah, yeah. And if you have that Lee reloading manual, which I think by my dad, you just got one, didn't you?
That one?
Yes. Um, your 35 Remington is going to produce pressures at about 35,000 pounds per square inch. Um, look on page, it's either 111 or 113 or some maybe 17 in that book. And there's a chart there that has matches your pressure with the recommended bullet hardness for that particular amount of pressure. And I'm not talking about velocity, whereas velocity is a result of pressure, but your pressure is what you need to match the bullet hardness to, according to Richard Lee. Do you find that?
It's not on that page.
I don't have the manual, or I'd dig through it right quick.
It's right in there.
There's no charts. The charts in mine start way further back.
No, this is not a chart with boxes around it or anything
Yeah.
like that.
It's in the beginning part before you get into all the load data.
It's going to be about one, but probably
It's-
between page 100 and 120.
Yeah, that's about right.
Almost certain.
I've looked at that chart a million times and couldn't tell you what page it's on.
Jamie quoted it a while back and almost pegged it. So he's probably not far off unless they move that manual that you have around, pages around, but it's definitely there.
Let's see. What are we talking? What are we looking for?
Lead hardness chart for
Lead
velocity.
hardness to pressure.
Well, I'd have to hand it to you because I can't find it.
Well,
Velocity pressure factors. Is that it?
probably.
All right, I got it. Page 107.
Well, that's obvious that they have changed everything in the book over time.
Page 107.
Show it to us, Walter.
Right there. Burnell hardness versus maximum pressure chart. 107.
That's
Yeah.
what I thought.
It depends on your book because mine 107's not. It's not there either.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What does it say for 35 psi, 35,000 psi, Walter?
35,000 psi. 23.8. No, 24.8.
So
Linotype.
they got to be hard.
Yep.
But then you take into consideration that you put a gas check and powder coat on it. That changes the whole equation, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And I've looked at this a million times because you go look at some of the pressures that the Lyman manual suggests for, and you guys know with me, I'm going to be talking about handgun pressures, but for say something like a 9mm that we're in that, can be in that same pressure range. And there's no way in the world that you need to be shooting linotype out of a 9mm round. So
Well, there's no reason to hunt deer with a 35 Remington, particularly powder coated and gas checked bullets
right.
at 24 BHN. That's not going to expand. The bullet that I
Wheel
use,
weights are gonna do you pretty much solid, unless you start really pushing hard velocities.
yeah, but that's going to depend on what the wheel weights are. I've had
Yeah,
wheel
but
weights.
most of them run pretty close. I mean, they're a little bit harder, a little bit softer. It's not a set hardness. You're right, but it's still pretty similar.
I've had them from 14 to 22.
Wow.
You'd like to settle right there, 16, 18 kind of thing, and that'll give you good expansion. But I was hunting with a 22 BHN bullet.
That's just get brittle. They get hard.
Yeah, and another deer snuck up behind the one that I was shooting.
Yeah,
I had 2 dead deer laying there on the ground.
sure.
It's happened to me too.
It went through the first one, and I clean passed through 2 deer out of 35 Remington with a 22 BHN bullet.
And they dropped.
And they both dropped dead right there. And I'm thinking that bullet probably did not expand. Anyway, it's time for the verse of the week. Are y'all ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. My idea here is to finish this chapter we're talking about tonight and do a review on it next week. So we probably won't have a verse of the week as much as we'll have a review of this chapter and a thought of how to wrap it all up. So we've been talking about Isaiah chapter 6, the great throne room scene from Isaiah and his calling into the ministry. Y'all remember the smoke filled the temple. His train was filled the room. All of that. Then Isaiah proclaims, "Woe is me, for I'm undone. I'm a man of unclean lips." In other words, the glory of God had revealed to him how sinful he was. Then the seraphim flew with the coal and the tongs and touched his lips to purge him from his sin. And the Lord said, "Who shall I send and who will go for us?" And Isaiah responded, "Here I am, send me." And God told Isaiah, "Go and tell his people to keep on hearing, do not understand, keep on seeing, but do not perceive. Make the heart of this people dull and their ears heavy. Shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and return and be healed." What we got there in verse 10 is just unbelievable love and mercy. Anyway, we're going to start with verse 11 tonight. And that says, "Then I said," I being Isaiah, "How long?" And he answered, H is capitalized, that would be God, "Until the cities are laid waste and without inhabitant. The houses are without a man. The land is utterly desolate. The Lord has removed men far away, and the forsaken places are many in the midst of the land. But yet a tenth will be in it, and will return and be for consuming, as a terebinth tree or as an oak, whose stump remains when it is cut down. So the holy seed shall be its stump." Okay, verse 11, back to here. How long? Isaiah is saying, how long am I going to have to preach this message with no response? And that's what the Lord had told him earlier. And the Lord says, until the cities are laid waste. In other words, until God's judgment is satisfied on Israel, his chosen people. Uh, verse 11 and 12 there, John MacArthur says, because of such rejection from his people, the prophet asked how long he should preach this message of divine judgment. God replied that it must continue until the cities are desolate, verse 11, and the people have gone into exile in verse 12. Let's take a look at verse 12 right there. It says, the Lord has removed men far away, and the forsaken places are many in the midst of the land. So what that's referring to is Judah being carried captive into Babylon. Is that right? Babylon? Yes, because Israel, the northern 10 tribes, were carried away into captivity by Assyria 150 years prior to this judgment. And then 13 says a tenth will return. He says there that though most will reject God, a tenth, also called stumps and holy seed, represents the faithful remnant in Israel who will be the nucleus who hear and believe. So, guys, no matter how bad Israel treated God, God always honored his covenant, and he always will. And the same goes for us. It doesn't matter, even though God has pronounced judgment, they were carried away captive. A bunch of people lost their lives. All the people lost their land and their homes, except for the very lowest end of society. You know, God will have his remnant. God will not be without a representative in the world. Let's see what David Guzik says. He says, how long, Lord, how long? This is a logical question from anyone who's given such a difficult commission. Do I have to preach to those who won't hear, and their rejection of my message will ultimately seal their doom? How long will I have to serve in that kind of ministry? And God answers him, till the cities are laid waste and without inhabitant. This answered the question of how long Isaiah was to preach. He should preach until destruction comes. He should preach in hope of the restoration of a remnant, which is forecast in verse 13 there, said, yet a tenth will be in it and will return. Even though Isaiah's ministry was difficult, it was not without hope. And be for consuming. The remnant will indeed return, but even the remnant will eventually be judged. Israel was not done being disobedient when they returned from Babylonian captivity, and God was not done bringing his judgment on disobedient Israel. Grogan there says, the devastation, great as it was to be, would not be total, but even its survivors would have to submit to further judgment. The illustration from nature, however, introduces an element of hope. We would expect this dramatic call of Isaiah to open the book, but the Bible clearly states that the message is more important than the messenger. Isaiah's message was more important than Isaiah the messenger. When Isaiah saw the Lord, who did he see? He saw God in the second person of the Trinity. He saw Jesus before he added humanity to his deity. We know this because the Apostle John quotes Isaiah 10, which says, Make the heart of this people dull and their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they should see with their eyes and hear with their ears and understand with their heart and return and be healed. And under the inspiration of the Holy Spirit adds, these things Isaiah said when he saw his glory and spoke of him. See, I've never thought of that before. That who he saw was actually the pre-incarnate Christ Jesus. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but that's a different topic for a different day. So, questions or comments, and we'll kind of wrap this up and have a little bit of a lesson next week. Did that make any sense at all?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, God's problem with Israel was idolatry, and he is. Remember, we talked about the Ten Commandments. You know, the Lord your God is a jealous God. You shall have no other gods before Him. And they slipped into worshiping those pagan gods, that God's little g, that the people around them were worshiping. And that's going to happen again. See, in my Sunday school class, I'm teaching end times prophecies. And all of this stuff is what we see basically here in Isaiah is what they call a pre-fulfillment. In other words, a picture of the real fulfillment that's going to happen when Jesus returns to earth. But anyway, thank y'all for indulging me with the verse of the week. It means a lot to me. And
We love it, brother. We love it.
well, I hope so. And I hope it makes a difference.
It does.
And I hope it makes a difference in your relationship with the Lord. That's why we do it.
Well, don't everybody say amen at once.
Amen.
Amen.
Jamie,
Amen.
I've forgiven more people since I've known you, son, than I've forgiven in all the rest of my years combined. You've taught me how to forgive people. Doesn't mean I gotta like them, but I've forgiven them.
He's still working on me and my ex-wife.
I'll tell y'all a story when we get off here about this is a private thing, and but I'll tell you how I learned about forgiveness, but it can't be talked about on the air. I'm sorry.
Same with me.
Floridian brother, you do not know. I think you do. How close we are to the end times. My brother Chico, I miss you so bad, brother. I could bust.
Yep.
Don't do that. It'd be messy.
It would, wouldn't it?
There'd be grits everywhere.
And Jiffy.
There wouldn't be no
Jiffy mix.
There wouldn't be no Jiffy mix. No. Be yellow corn
I found
mix.
out something great about Jiffy Mix today. They say
No.
that is wonderful. That's the best thing in the world to get rid of mice.
Yeah.
I saw that.
That's a good use for it.
That's all it's good for.
Yeah. That's it.
For the mice.
When you're in a pinch and all you need is 6 little muffins, it's quick and easy.
So,
But if you want something good, you take a half cup of flour, a cup and a half of cornmeal.
white cornmeal. There's
Well,
a lot
you
big
do
argument.
you, bro.
There's a big argument in North Carolina about white cornmeal and yellow cornmeal. A lot of people say yellow cornmeals feed the mules, white cornmeals make cornbread with.
Well, I'll tell
Now,
you what, I use whatever's in the pantry.
Exactly. I don't suffer from that. You know, I just make cornbread. So
I use whatever's in the pantry, and I always add some type of pepper to it, whether it be green chilies or jalapenos or something.
I'm tell you how to make some good cornbread. Put a little bit of whole kernel corn and some onions in there.
I use cream corn. I use cream corn.
But buttermilk is an absolute have to. That separates.
When you're through making cornbread, you can pour it out.
What?
Well, one thing I can tell you, you need to use a little extra pig fat or lard when you're cooking your kale, because it makes it a lot easier to scrape it off in the trash can.
Look, Bama Dad, if you's camping with me out somewhere and I whooped up some cornbread with some beans and barbecue pork butt or whatever, you know, you ain't gonna throw that out. You're gonna
no. I'll eat the cornbread. I like buttermilk in the cornbread. I just don't like to drink buttermilk.
No. No, I don't either.
No.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't drink
throw it
buttermilk.
out. You use it till it's gone. That means you make cornbread with a half gallon of a quart of buttermilk. You make cornbread tonight, biscuits in the morning, and cornbread tomorrow night. You do that till it's all gone.
I whooped up some biscuits. I usually make a pan of biscuits every Sunday. And I don't always have buttermilk, but I had this week. I made biscuits. And Jody, my wife, she said, "My God, these are good biscuits." I said, "That's because it's not milk with lemon juice in it. It's real buttermilk."
Right. There is a difference.
Yeah.
And she said, "What's the difference?" I went, "Clabber."
Yeah.
The old Clabber girl.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we got to start clearing the deck for Bama Dad, Hillbilly and Kentucky Rimfire coming up. Hillbilly, you want to go first?
Yeah, I can, buddy. Well, first of all, I want to say thanks a lot. It's been a fun night, great topic, and anytime talking about hunting is always fun for me. And anyway, now we got Guns Bearing Therapy coming up tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. If you ain't doing that, and swing by and visit us. And of course, always got videos coming out. So anyway, got some Bear Creek's some more of the bolt action ARs coming out. So anyway, and that I think that's what I'm going to be deer hunting with this year's a bolt action AR. So anyway, thanks a lot, man. Always fun time here. Great panels, great side chat. So anyway, y'all be blessed.
Thank you for being
too, brother.
What cartridge are you going to hunt with?
Either the 350 or 300 blackout. Depends on if my granddaughter goes. So
I hope that cold gets better for you.
Thank you, buddy. I feel like I'm on the downhill side of it, so hopefully it'll all work out. So
good deal.
It always does.
Sleep.
All right. Thank you for being here, brother. Bama Dad, you want to go next?
Sure. I appreciate getting to join you guys tonight. I enjoyed it. Didn't have a whole lot to offer, but just looking forward. I'm going to spend some time at the range this week and see if I can't get that rifle dialed in. It's honing me right now. So once I get it going.
Yeah. Ain't nothing like a butt whooping make you want to come back and get some more, is there?
Grease up your fork and take another bite.
I know it, man.
I think they're gonna charge me for digging rows in their range from last time.
No, they're just gonna make you come plant some grass. It'll be fine, brother. I'm sure. You need help, you got my number.
I'll holler at you.
Peace. Please
Brother.
do. All right. Rebel, you wanna go next?
Yeah, I'm just laughing over Fuzz Fork's post from a while back where he said Donner Party helpers no longer on the shelf when we were talking about cornbread. Donner Party helper. Yummy. Is that in a can, Fuzz? Anyway, muzzleloader starts here tomorrow. I always hunt deer with this bullet, which is a modern Monet ball. That's all it is. Solid copper. But I've got some Great Plains lead bullets that turn into frisbees when they hit a deer, and they're much, much heavier. And I generally don't shoot more than 75 yards with any muzzleloader, whether it be an inline or my good old Thompson Center. I don't know. I'll get home tomorrow afternoon. I might pop a few shots with both and run some alcohol down it and call it good and choose which one. But I shot the Power Belt last week and at 50 yards and said, okay, it's a clean barrel. It's going to hit low left, and it hit 3/4 inches low and 3/4 inches left. I called that right. Now she's tightened up, so I'll probably just go with that bullet. Muzzle loaders aren't sniper rifles. I know guys are shooting smokeless muzzle loaders and trying to make them. I can't devote that kind of money to 2 weeks out of the year, you know.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if I was going off somewhere, maybe, but I'll relegate that to pretty close ranges, and go from there. I got a pretty good buck on camera. He's a mature buck. He's out past his ears. He's got a main tine popped at the end, so he's a mainframe 8. And I don't know. I may let. He's bigger than any deer I've ever killed, but I may let him walk. And just hunt meat. I'm gonna have to be careful because I got a couple little knobby heads, and you if you're not hunting during rifle season and you're hunting low light, you can kill a button buck for a doe real easy. So I might have to be very, very careful about that. So anyway, all right, whoever's next.
Kyle.
I'll take it. Oh, just looking forward to going to work and slaving again tomorrow. It happens.
Yeah, that's me.
4 o'clock comes early, but I actually enjoy what I'm doing, so it's not that bad. I want to say thank you to everybody in the side chat, and Fuzz, you've been cracking me up all evening.
Yeah. Yes, me too.
It's been funny. Chico, it's great to see you, brother. You need to stop by the house. Bring Carter by, and I'll start thawing out some stuff in the freezer. But you're going to have to give me a couple of days heads up because I know that boy can eat. But, yeah, we need to get together, brother. Like I say, everybody just keep on keeping on. That's the only thing we can do. I'm glad to have this opportunity to cut up with all you fellow idiots. And I enjoy every minute of it. And everybody have a good weekend, and we'll catch y'all on the flip side.
Very
All right,
good.
Walter, what you got?
Well, thanks a lot, as always, for the invitation. You guys come and participate, and I'm kind of like Bama Dad. I don't have a whole lot to add to this conversation. It's been 50 years since I hunted, and that rifle didn't have a optic on it, but that's the kind of hunting we had out here. Anyway, always a pleasure to sit around and chew the the pig fat with you guys and see what everyone's been up to. Folks over there in the side chat, thanks for hanging out with us tonight and putting up with all of us here. And as Kyle said, it's always an interesting conversation with you folks. You never know which way this thing's going to turn. It's been good. So I got some casting to do next week. Range Day Monday. We got Moldy Monday still going over there on the Rumble channel. We're up to number 84, 85 or something like that over there. And I got a lot more. So I feel like old Ron Popeil infomercial. But wait, there's more. And we'll have a Wadcutter Wednesday coming up and on this coming Wednesday and some other stuff. Maybe I got an idea for another kind of set of shorts to put up that I can put up on YouTube that's related to the Moldy Monday, since YouTube won't let me put the whole thing in there. I might just start putting up shorts with just the shooting segment.
There you go.
2 minutes worth and say, here's the bullet. Not going to tell you what the load is. Here's the gun I shot it out. Bang, 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 bang. Look how crappy I shot. See ya. So I'm going to try that here in the next couple of weeks. But anyway, that's what I got going on. We got rain due in next week, so I got to get my casting done on Tuesday or Wednesday. And usually Thursday is my usual casting day. And gonna have to get it done early this week. Going rain, which is good. So that's it for me. Hope everybody over there in the side chat. Hope all you guys are having a good weekend. Got stuff planned with friends and family, and stay safe and sound. Carry a sidearm if you can.
Absolutely.
How you doing, CW? What you got coming up, buddy?
Good deal. I got 4 videos, it looks like, next week.
Oh boy.
I got another Whisper video and a couple of 400 Legend videos. And I got a video on a stinker barrel that I got. So you have to stick around to see that one.
Oh.
I posted up a video on the 300 Legend last week or the week before last week, I think. A little short. I don't know, it's probably about 15 seconds long. And it's got almost 30,000 views. It's just skyrocketed.
It's crazy. Yeah.
I think it's got so many because it's so short and you can see the target get hit. So I'm thinking everybody watches it like 2 or 3 times to try and see what I was shooting at, what I hit, But it's pretty cool, just to see that kind of numbers. I haven't had that kind of explosion of numbers in quite a while. But, yeah, got some stuff coming up. I'm hitting the range tomorrow. Don't know if I'll get a video out of it. We're supposed to have rain for like the next 4 days, but it's going to be cold, so it's going to be good hunting weather rain. My season opens next week after next, so looking forward to that. Other than that, thanks everybody in the panel and on the side chat. And that's Ellie dreaming over here. She's squeaking. Good chat again. Good times, and appreciate all of you. God bless.
All right, guys. Thank y'all so much. You guys on the panel, thank you for help making the live stream what it is. All you guys on the side chat, thank you so much for choosing to share your time with us on Friday nights. And I'll try to do a video. I just got to. Got a couple up with that scope, and I think y'all like that scope. But other than that, I'll just say the Lord bless you and keep you. The Lord make his face shine upon you and be gracious to you. The Lord lift up his countenance upon you and give you peace. We hope the Lord blesses y'all all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see you next Friday night at 8 o'clock. Say good night, y'all.